Call of the Senate has been moved and properly sustained. Will the sergeants close the doors, return all senators back to the chamber, and allow no senators to leave? Please call the roll.
Bridges. Buckner. Coleman. Cook. Coram. Danielson. Donovan. Enberg. Fields. Gardner. Janal. Gonzalez. Hanson. Heisey. Holbert.
8 days, 4 hours, 10 minutes.
Hawkins Lewis. Kirkmeyer. Colker. Lee. Liston. Lundeen. Moreno. Patterson. Priola. Rankin. Rodriguez. Scott.
Here.
Simpson. Smallwood. Sonnenberg. Story. Winter. Woodward. Zenzinger. Let's go back through again. Cook. Coram. Finberg. Gonzalez. Kirkmeyer. Smallwood. And Woodward. Woodward. Rankin. Cool. So everyone's here but Liston. We need to excuse him. Yeah, he said he would. Okay. Got him.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the call be raised.
The motion is to raise the call. Will the clerk please mark Senator Liston excused?
Do we just have the one bill?
Yes.
So we'll go right in.
Okay. He raised it.
It is a motion. Never really thought about it.
All of those in favor of raising the call, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed no. The ayes have it and the call is raised.
No more barrels. No more barrels.
Committee reports.
June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1005 be minutes fall so amended before the committee whole favorable recommendation. June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1014 be minutes fall so amended before the committee whole favorable recommendation. June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1101 be referred to the committee the whole favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed in the consent calendar. June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1111 be referred to the committee the whole favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed in the consent calendar. June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1261 be minutes fall so amended before the committee the whole favorable recommendation. Recommendation placed in the consent calendar. June 3rd, Committee Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1271 be minutes fall so amended before the committee whole favorable recommendation. June 3rd, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1285 be minutes fall so amended before the committee whole favorable recommendation. June 3rd, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. House Bill 1286 before the committee whole favorable recommendation. June 3rd, Committee on Appropriations. After consideration of the merits, committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 293 before the committee whole favorable recommendation.
Third. Just one bill. Hanson, you ready?
Third reading of bills, final passage. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 264?
Senate Bill 264 by Senators Hansen and Corman, Representative Valdez A. and Burnett concerning the adoption of programs by gas utilities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 264 on third reading and final passage.
Is there any discussion? Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's good to see you all late this evening and all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I want to address a little bit about 264. Back in the mid-'80s, most of you are probably too young to remember this, but there's a television show that started in 1985, lasted in 1992, called MacGyver. MacGyver. And MacGyver was a fix-it guy. And that's what I've done on a lot of bills since I've been here. Take a bill that I particularly was a little concerned about and get on it to try to fix it. And that is the situation with 264. I got on 264 because, for the little history of it that don't know, but Senator Gail Schwartz and I ran legislation several years back capturing methane gas from the Oxbow mine in Gunnison County. It was a partnership with Holy Cross Energy and Aspen Ski Corporation. Has been very successful. And so I actually wanted to get on this bill to expand that capture of methane, because here we have an option. We can take and capture the methane and make it a resource, or we can let it escape and be a pollutant. So that's why I got on 264. And frankly, I was very happy about 264. And then along come a little situation called a strike below. And I became very concerned that it was done basically quietly. Wasn't aware of it happening. Wasn't aware that not all the stakeholders were involved. And it became very concerning to me. Atmos Energy came by and said what problems that they had against the bill. Black Hills Energy, City of Colorado Springs. Now, granted, we have taken Colorado Springs out of the equation, but Black Hills Energy is serving a very fast-growing development in Douglas County. And their customer base has greatly increased since 2015. And so they're in a situation that I don't think there's any way in the world then they can meet the demands of 264. I don't think it can happen. But let's talk about what's going on here. There's people in the room that have talked about the war on rural Colorado. I've been involved in that. 20-some years ago, I acquired uranium properties. And I witnessed the strong environmental community against mining. A few years later, I saw the attack on coal. And unfortunately, the oil and gas industry was right in the middle of helping that. And I warned them, be careful what you ask for, because you're next. I don't think we have planned to fail, but I think we have failed to plan. A year ago, I drive 600 miles if I just go home and back every weekend. 600 miles. Gasoline was less than $2. Right now I'm paying $3.45 at home in 1 year. Pretty hard on people that can't afford it, including myself. Electricity rates, we're trying to duplicate California. California is famous for their rolling brownouts. A kilowatt hour of electricity in California is 20 cents. Colorado is 14 cents. We have successfully driven the oil and gas industry, the drilling industry, out of Colorado, especially in my region, where most of it's on federal lands. Be careful what you ask for. Because you're talking about you want to help the working poor, people of color, and that's the very people you're hurting. I think it's come home to roost, folks. We've passed severance tax here, $400 million in the past. Today, we have gone negative on severance tax. All those cities and counties and water projects that are dependent on severance tax is down the road. So we can continue this push for greenhouse gas, totally eliminating the oil and gas industry. I asked the question during a stakeholder meeting. It appears to me that the goal of this is to totally shut down oil and gas. Is that correct? And the answer was yes. And I believe we're going to do it. But my question is, how are you going to repatriate 200,000 jobs in the oil and gas industry, well over $100,000 in the mining industry, with what? We're going to retrain. We're going to teach you another trade. Well, I've been through that in my district. Nuclear Station, the cleanest coal-fired power plant in the nation, was shut down, closing the coal mine. So between the coal mine, the mechanics, the trucking industry, it's 120 jobs of 360 in that community. And we have a thing called just transition. And you know what? By golly, it's created 6 jobs. I think we are drunk on an idea. The fact is, it is too much too soon. Our economy in Colorado is not sustainable if we continue to force these industries out of Colorado. And frankly, I think that's exactly what we are doing. I'm not going to ask you to vote no. I'm not going to ask you to vote yes. I'm asking you to look down the road and look at the long-term effects. When we put 200,000 to 300,000 workers that are 6-figure jobs, what are they going to do? Retrain and relocate. Unfortunately, some of my people in my district have moved to other states. My neighboring state, Utah, right now is leading the nation in 2.7% unemployment. So be careful what you ask for. But I'm telling you right now, the chickens have come home to roost. We are moving too fast and not prepared for the day that the wind doesn't blow, the sun doesn't shine. And let's talk about the homes that we're building. I have a friend that's a builder, and he's a small builder. He builds about 20 homes a year, puts several people to work, making $25 to $30 an hour. But he's telling me that if we have to go to all electric, my people say, no, I like the comfort of the gas. I like that hot water heat. He said, building costs have gone up. You know, on a $400,000 home in the last 6 months, building costs have gone up $50,000. So we're going to do all these things. We're going to create electric cars, electric trucks. Let's talk about the electric truck. The good senator from Sterling, good senator from Fountain, know a little bit about trucks. I wouldn't ride with them, but if they know a little bit about trucks. But $85,000 payload is $40,000 to $45,000. $85,000 gross weight is about $40,000 to $45,000 payload. The battery system is about $15,000 of that. So we're asking to shut down a trucking industry and go all electric. We're all in, all electric. I don't have a problem with electric. I wish I could afford one. Unfortunately, I'd have to stop and recharge it somewhere between here and home. So if I could get one of you good members to buy a second home about halfway, I could probably make this work. But we're treating this as a situation that reminds me of a situation that I had at home. A fellow came into Montrose and big ideas, bought a restaurant that had been successful for 60 to 70 years, and changed the menu drastically. think the good senator over there knows what I'm talking about, the Stockmans. One day he came to me and he said, I don't know what to do. I just don't have any business. And my comment to him was, why don't you prepare what people want to eat rather than what you want them to eat? And that's exactly what we're doing here right now. We're saying it is best for you to go all electric, even though maybe you can't afford it, but it's going to be worth the cost to you down the road. We always talk about a number of $15 an hour. How many of you think you're going to buy an electric car on a wage of $15 an hour? How many of you think you're going to heat your home on California rates when our winters are much stronger? It's not going to happen. It is a dream. And there's nothing wrong with dreams, but somewhere along the line, reality has to kick in. Payday is here. It just happened. Our severance taxes that we've depended on for years and years and years for our municipalities, our water projects, is no longer there. Not long ago, we were figuring out how we can fund all of our Tier 1 projects and a few Tier 2s. Now we have Tier gone. And frankly, it brings tears to my eyes to think that we have blindly moved forward without looking at the consequences on what this is going to do for Colorado. I'm not going to ask you either way, as I said, to vote yes, vote no. But as the co-prime of this bill, in all good consciousness, I cannot support it. And at the end, when it is passed, and I have no doubt that it is going to pass, and frankly, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't get this old being stupid. And I have survived on gut feelings and intelligence. My gut feelings tells me that we are moving in a direction that is not sustainable. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. Because if I'm right and you're wrong, the very people that we say we're here to protect are going to suffer the most. I would have loved to move this bill forward, expanding the methane and working on a plan. That's not going to happen. I think we are setting ourselves up for failure. I understand the politics of this, but I'm going to tell you, my gut feeling says we are wrong. We would be much better off waiting a year or two to see where this is going. The cost of gasoline increasing by a third, 35% in 1 year, What's it going to be next year? Be cautious to what you ask for. When this is done, I will vote no. And unfortunately, I will ask my name to be removed as a sponsor of this bill.
Senator Hansen.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I want to say a big thank you to the good senator from Montrose for his incredible engagement on this. What I can tell you is by the time we're done with our work, I hope, on this bill tonight, there is still some significant amount of captured methane, recovered methane, including some of the sources that he mentioned, still remain an important part of this bill. They make up about 25% of how we are going to reach these targets. But I certainly understand the good senator's decision, and I have nothing but admiration and respect for his hard work on this very complicated, very tough policy area. And with that, Mr. President, we have had a very lengthy amount of discussion in the course of the day with dozens of stakeholders, and I need to ask the body's permission to offer third reading amendment.
Would the good senator from Denver please explain to the body why we should allow you permission to offer a third reading amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As I mentioned, a tremendous amount of back and forth here. We did get, I think, to a much better place when it comes to the smaller LDCs, which the good Senator Montrose mentioned earlier. Was able to get a threshold put into the bill with this amendment for less than 250,000 meters to make parts of the program voluntary and provide a lower cost cap. I would love to have this amendment added to the bill to make that clear as we send it over to the House, and ask for your permission.
The motion before the request before the body is to allow the good senator from Denver to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Permission is granted. There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L011?
Amendment L011 to Senate Bill 264 by Senator Hansen. Amendment in gross bill, page 17, line 24.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, L011, pardon me, I move L011 to Senate Bill 264.
To the amendment.
Thank you. I just want to point out what's happening with this amendment. We're basically creating a more flexibility for small LDCs, local distribution companies, under 250,000 meters. That means everyone except one of the LDCs is underneath that level. They have a strict 2% cost cap to make sure we're not increasing costs above that for ratepayers. The other important part of this amendment is that we create a 4% reduction in emissions targets by 2025. 1/4 of that will be reached with recovered methane that we talked about earlier. And for the 2030 target, it sets a target of 22%, with 5% of that being reached with recovered methane. So I think still significant investment opportunity for many of the projects that we started off with in the original version of this bill. And I ask for your support for L011.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. And to the good senator, I appreciate this amendment a great deal. It is a start. It is not a finish. So we basically got it down to XL. XL, did you hear that? XL is basically an electrical utility. Their portfolio is not a great deal of gas. And I appreciate this amendment a great deal. But my concern is if we force everyone into the electricity and we go California rates, what have we solved? What have we solved? 14 cents compared to 20 cents or more. Degree days, much colder. my own home was paying about $700 a month in electricity, all electric home built in the 70s. Bringing California rates into it, over 1,000. That's pretty extreme. And frankly, I understand XL support of this. But unfortunately, this helps the bill. I think it puts a shade of pink on. We're not quite red. But with that, I am going to ask you to support L011.
The motion before the body is the adoption amendment 011. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Amendment 011 is adopted. To the bill. Having no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 264. Are there any no votes? Senators Cook, Gardner, Rankin, Heisey, Kirkmeyer, Lundin, Scott. Minority Leader. Simpson. Senator Sonnenberg. Quorum. The Minority Leader. Smallwood. Woodward. With 21 aye votes, 13 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 264 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Priola, Hawkins Lewis. Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. It pains me to do this, but I would ask to have my name removed as co-prime.
Senator Quorum's name will be removed as requested. Consideration of House amendments.
Yeah, she's making some copies real quick. Yeah.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to let folks know what we're doing, so we have a whole bunch of Senate bills that were amended that have come over. We're going to do consideration of House amendments so folks know which bills are on that list. In the order we are having that calendar printed, it will be on your desk soon. So we'll take a brief senatorial 5 as that's getting passed out so folks know which bills are in the queue.
The Senate will stand in the senatorial 5. The Senate will come to order. Consideration of House amendments. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 016?
Senate Bill 16 by Senators Pedersen and Moreno and Representatives Escar and Mullica concerning services related to preventive health care and in connection therewith requiring coverage from certain preventative measures, screenings, and treatments that are administered, dispensed, or prescribed by health care providers and facilities and making appropriation.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 16.
Is there any discussion? Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, Senate Bill 16 has to do with preventative health services. In the House, an amendment was added to conduct an actuarial review and for this to go into effect only if the federal government certifies that it will not affect premiums. So ask for your aye vote on concurrence.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 016. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 016, that motion is adopted. Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 16 as amended.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 016. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Cook, Simpson, Sonnenberg, Woodward, Rankin, Smallwood, Gardner, Rankin, Heisey, Kirkmeyer, Priola, Lundeen, Scott. With 21 aye votes, 13 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 016 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Senators Gonzalez, Lee, will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 072?
Senate Bill 72 by Senators Hansen and Quorum and Representative Valdez A. and Catlin concerning the expansion of electric transmission facilities to enable Colorado to meet its clean energy goals and in connection therewith creating the Colorado Electric Transmission Authorities, requiring transmission utilities to join organized wholesale markets and allowing additional classes of transmission utilities to obtain revenue through the collocation of broadband facilities within their existing rights-of-way.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. We actually moved to concur with House amendments on 072. It pains me to say so, but they put a few amendments on making the bill actually better, and ask for an aye vote.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 072. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Will the Senator Quorum?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move for the repassage of Senate Bill 72.
Motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 072. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundeen, Sonnenberg, Cook, Woodward, Gardner, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood. With 27 ayes, 7 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 072 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Would the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 116?
Senate Bill 116 by Senator Danielson, Representative Benavides, and McLaughlin concerning the prohibition of American Indian mascots in Colorado.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 116.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 116. Are there any no votes? Senator, with 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 116.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 116. Are there any no votes? Senator Sonnenberg, Heisey, Simpson, Lundin, Scott, the Minority Leader, Gardner, Cook, Kirkmeyer, Woodward, Quorum, Rankin, Priola, Smallwood. With 20 ayes, 14 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 116 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Senators Gonzalez, Buckner, will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 129?
Senate Bill 129 by Senator Garcia and Representative Ortiz concerning establishing a pilot program to reduce the suicide rate among veterans and in connection with making an appropriation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 129.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 129. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm glad you didn't ask me to explain what the House did because I couldn't tell you. But I assume it was great because it's got your name on it. Mr. President, I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 129.
Motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 129. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that Senate Bill 129 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Senators Cook, Rankin, Quorum, Sonnenberg, Heisey, Story, Kirkmeyer, Gardner, Lundin. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 131?
Senate Bill 131 by Senator Gonzalez and Representative Gonzalez Gutierrez concerning measures to protect personal identifying information kept by state agencies and in connection with making appropriation.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 131 and move to concur with the House amendments.
The motion is that the House concur with Senate amendments on Senate Bill 131. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Gonzalez.
Gracias, Presidente. I move that I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 131.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 131. Are there any no votes? Senators Sonnenberg, Woodward, Cook, the Minority Leader, Heisey, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood, Scott. With 26 ayes, 8 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 131 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 173?
Senate Bill 173 by Senator Gonzalez and Moreno and Representative Caraveo and Gonzalez Gutierrez concerning rights related to residential rental agreements and in connection with making appropriations.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move that the Senate concur with the amendments made by the House to Senate Bill 173.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 173. Are there any no votes? Senator Woodward. With 33 ayes, 1 no vote, 0 absent, 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Moreno.
Thank Thank you, Mr. President. We move for the repassage of Senate Bill 173 as amended.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 173 as amended. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Cook, Simpson, Lundin, Kirkmeyer, Sonnenberg, Heisey, Gardner, Quorum, Woodward, Rankin, Priola, Smallwood, Scott. With 20 ayes, 14 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 173 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 174?
We look damn good.
We think we do. We think we do.
No, we do. Come on, we look good. Yeah, you look great.
Your time needs a little. Yeah, good.
Oh, there we go. Got to get the broccoli out of my tooth.
Yeah.
Coming back the eyebrows.
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 174?
Senate Bill 174 by Senators Cook and Janal, Representative Burton Carver, concerning adoption of written policies by law enforcement agencies for constitutionally required peace officers, credibility, disclosure, and notifications.
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with the House amendments on Senate Bill 174 and ask for an aye vote.
Will the
174?
motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 174. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 174.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 174. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 174 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 238?
Senate Bill 238 by Senators Garcia and Zenzinger and Representative Escar and Gray, concerning the Front Range Passenger Rail District and in connection with creating the district for the purpose of developing, planning, developing, designing, financing, constructing, operating, and maintaining a passenger rail system, specifying the territory, governing structure, powers, and duties of the district, and reducing an appropriation.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 238.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 238. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 238.
Motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 238. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Scott, Cook, Kirkmeyer, Sonnenberg, Woodward, Lundin, Smallwood.
Did you know we added something for you?
With 26 ayes, 8 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 238 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Would the clerk please read Senator Gonzalez. Would the clerk please read the title? Would the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 245?
Senate Bill 245 by Senators Donovan and Rankin, Representative McCluskey and Will, concerning backcountry search and rescue services in Colorado in connection with making appropriation.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 245.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 245. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion. Are there any no votes? With 34 aye votes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 245.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 245. Are there any no votes? With 34 aye votes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 245 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Senators Lundin, Heisey.
You want to do it?
You do.
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 248?
Well, that's not what we're doing, though, is it?
Yeah.
Senate Bill 248 by Senators Donovan and Simpson, Representative McCormick and Holtorf, concerning assistance for agriculture in Colorado in connection therewith establishing a loan program in the Department of Agriculture, transferring money from the general fund to the new agricultural future loan program cash fund to be used for the loan program and making an appropriation.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate not concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 248 and that a conference committee be appointed.
Is there any discussion? The motion is that the Senate not concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 248 and that a conference committee be appointed. Are there any no votes?
That's right.
Huzzah!
With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. The following senators are appointed as members of the First Conference on Committee for Senate Bill 248. Senators Garcia, Chair, Donovan, Simpson.
We're going to knock it out. Watch out, House.
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 249?
Senate Bill 249 by Senators Fenberg and Donovan and Representative Will and Tipper, concerning the creation of an original discount on parks and public lands access pass that is purchased at the time a motor vehicle is registered and in connection therewith using the pass fees to finance a number of goals of the Division of Parks and Wildlife related to increased conservation of safety at and access to state parks and public lands and making an appropriation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 249.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 249. Are there any no votes?
Well,
Senators Woodward, Coram, Sonderberg, Gardner, Lundin, Smallwood, Kirkmeyer. With 27 ayes, 7 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator, Mr. Majority Leader.
thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 249.
The motion is the repassage of Senate Bill 249. Are there any no votes? Senator Gardner, Cook, Sonnenberg, Woodward, Coram. With 29 ayes, 5 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 249 is repassed. Co-sponsors.
Then you need to do it again.
You should raise your hand again.
That's how it works.
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 252?
Especially at 9 o'clock.
Senate Bill 250 by Senators Fenberg and Gonzalez, Representative Lantin and Caraveo, concerning modifications to certain statutes covering the conduct of elections and in connection with making appropriation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 252.
Is there any discussion?
Whoops.
Correction. Senate Bill 252 by Senators Fenberg and Holbert and Representative Tatone and Lantin, concerning the establishment of a state grant program to promote projects in commercial centers throughout the state that will revitalize community spaces and in connection with making appropriation.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 252.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 252. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 252.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 252. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that Senate Bill 252 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 255?
Senate Bill 255 by Senator Winter and Representative Harrod and Tatone concerning providing menstrual hygiene products at no expense to students and in connection with making appropriation.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 255.
Motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 255. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excuse, that motion is adopted. Senator Winter.
I do.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of 255.
Motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 255. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundin, Mr. Minority Leader.
Tampon.
Cook.
Tampon.
Gardner. Simpson. Heisey. Sonnenberg.
Have you seen this
Scott.
stigma about tampon?
Kirkmeyer. Woodward. Rankin. Smallwood. With 22 aye votes, 12 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excuse, Senate Bill 255 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 256?
Senate Bill 256 by Senator Fenberg Moreno and Representative Hooten Doherty concerning permitting regulation of firearms in local governing bodies.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 256.
Motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 256. Are there any no votes? Senator Lundin.
You're on the record.
With 33 aye votes, 1 no vote, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader, Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move for the repassage of Senate Bill 256 as amended.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 256. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundin, Mr. Minority Leader, Gardner, Simpson, Sonnenberg, Heisey, Scott, Kirkmeyer, Coram, Woodward, Rankin, Priola, Smallwood. With 21 aye votes, 13 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excuse, Senate Bill 256 is repassed. Co-sponsors.
Yeah. Yes.
Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 268?
Do you want me to explain anything, or do you want to just move it?
Let's just do it.
Senate Bill 268 by Senators Zenzinger and Lundin and Representative McLaughlin and McCluskey concerning the financing of public schools in connection with making appropriation.
Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I insist.
Go ahead.
Cook was a yes. Damn straight.
The Senate will stand in a brief recess.
Cook did not
The Senate will come back to order. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seems folks have had a change of heart. I get it. It's a complicated issue. I move for the immediate reconsideration of the passage of the repassage of Senate Bill 256.
The motion is for the immediate reconsideration of Senate Bill 256. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted and reconsideration is granted. Mr. Majority Leader. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for, having voted on the prevailing side, I move for the reconsideration of consideration of House amendments to Senate Bill 256.
The motion is for the reconsideration of House amendments on Senate Bill 256. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it and reconsideration is granted. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 256?
Senate Bill 256 by Senators Fenberg and Moreno and Representative Hooton and Doherty concerning permitting regulation of firearms by local governing bodies.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 256.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also encourage a yes vote on concurrence. My reading of the House amendments, it lowered the penalty related to local jurisdictions, and I see this as a good amendment and pro Second Amendment to vote yes on concurrence.
Is there further discussion? Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've never seen a recall campaign committee get filed in the Secretary of State's office so fast, but there have been 2 filed in the last 120 seconds, but they may not need to go through with their campaign, but I urge an aye vote.
The motion before the body is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 256. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 256.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 256. Having no discussion, are there any no votes? Senators Simpson, Gardner, Lundin, Scott, the Minority Leader, Sonnenberg, Heisey, Kirkmeyer, Priola, Woodward, Coram, Rankin, Smallwood, and Senator Cook.
It is. You've got one more. Listed as excused. Oh, that's right.
With 20 ayes, 14 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 256 is passed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 268?
Senate Bill 268 by Senators Zenzinger and Lundin and Representative McLaughlin and McCluskey concerning the financing of public schools in connection with making appropriation.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move. I'm sorry. Dang, I've never done that before.
The good senator from Monument will be fined.
Let's raise it to 10. Let's raise it to 10.
Given the hour that it's late, but given the establishment set by the good senator from Brighton, $7. Senator Lundin.
Mr. President, thank you very much. I move that we concur with the House amendments to Senate Bill 268, and there were several.
The motion is for the Senate to concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 268. Are there any no votes? With 34 aye votes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Zenzinger.
Mr. President, I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 268, the School Finance Act.
Is there further discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's my very first one. like ever.
Discussion.
Seeing none, the motion is the repassage of Senate Bill 268. Are there any no votes?
Thanks for stealing it.
With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 268 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Senators Cook, Gardner, Heisey, Woodward, Kirkmeyer. Will the clerk please read the title? Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate the opportunity to be recognized. It is my understanding that the President has a deficit with the fee bank right now, and I would like to pay that $1 deficit on his behalf.
It was very kind of you to the good
Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
from Monument.
President.
Thank you. The Senate Secretary will be fined $1 for disclosing this fact. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 278?
Senate Bill 278 by Senators Moreno and Representative Herod concerning reimbursement of placement of children and out-of-home placement and in connection with making appropriation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 278.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 278. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 278 as amended.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 278. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 278 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 283?
Senate Bill 283 by Senator Moreno and Representative McCluskey concerning cash fund solvency and in connection therewith creating the cash fund solvency fund to allow the state controller to transfer money to certain cash funds with anticipated cash deficits, which amounts will be later repaid, transferring money to the marijuana cash fund and making and reducing an appropriation.
Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 283.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 283. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 283 as amended.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 283. Are there any no votes? Senators Cook, Heisey, Woodward, Sonnenberg. With 30 aye votes, 4 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 283 is repassed. Co-sponsors.
Dirty money.
Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 286?
Senate Bill 286 by Senators Moreno and Rankin, Representative Herod and McCluskey concerning the distribution of money received under the Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for home and community-based services in connection with making appropriation. Making and reducing appropriation.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 286.
The motion is that the Senate concur with House amendments on Senate Bill 286. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, that motion is adopted. Senator Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of Senate Bill 286.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 286. Are there any no votes? With 34 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 286 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1028?
House Bill 1028 by Representative Byrd and Rich and Senator Story and Woodward concerning the preparation of the Division of Housing within the Department of Local Affairs of an annual public report that provides information on money administered by the state to promote the provision of affordable housing.
Senator Story.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate recede from its position on House Bill 1028.
The motion is that the Senate recede from its position on House Bill 1028. Are there any no votes? Senator Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am going to ask for a no vote. If you recall the conversation that we had in appropriations and here on the floor, the Senate wisely stripped $23,000 and 0.3 full-time employees and demanded that they do the work within their current budget and their current FTE. The House, with in their lack of wisdom, decided that we don't know what we're doing over here. And the fact that we are conservative and taking care of the budget, I ask that we adhere to our position and send this to conference committee. So I'm asking for a no vote on the motion on the table.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, Senator Story.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we recede from the position and ask for your aye vote.
Members, that is the current motion before us. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Scott, Lundin, Gardner, Sonnenberg, Coram, Rankin, Simpson, Heisey, Kirkmeyer, Cook, Woodward, Priola, Smallwood. With 20 aye votes, 14 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, the motion is adopted. The Senate recedes from its position on House Bill 1028. Senator Story.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1028.
The motion is for the repassage of House Bill 1028. Are there any no votes? Senators Gardner, Cook, Kirkmeyer, Smallwood, Rankin, Lundin. Minority Leader. With 27 aye votes, 7 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, House Bill 1028 is repassed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I haven't voted on the prevailing side because of an individual whose name rhymes with Bob Gardner. I move for the reconsideration of Senate Bill 238.
What do you,
Mr. President,
the motion is for the immediate reconsideration of Senate Bill 238. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. And immediate reconsideration is granted on Senate Bill 238. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Bill 238?
Senate Bill 238 by Senators Garcia and Zenzing and Representative Escar and Gray concerning the Front Range Passenger Rail District and in connection therewith creating the district with purpose of planning, designing, developing, financing, constructing, operating, and maintaining a passenger rail system and specifying the territory, governing structure, powers, and duties of the district and reducing an appropriation.
I'll move it. Move it.
Senator Zenzinger.
I move for concurrence. Just repassage? Okay, great. I move repassage of Senate Bill 238.
The motion is for the repassage of Senate Bill 238. Are there any no votes? Senators Lundin, Gardner, Cook, Kirkmeyer, Scott, Sonnenberg, Woodward, Smallwood, the Minority Leader.
Too late now.
With 25 aye votes, 9 no votes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 238 is repassed. Co-sponsors.
And we made sure it's going.
In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1007, the Senate conferees are Senators Danielson, Chair, Rodriguez, and Woodward on the first conference committee on House Bill 1007. In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1027, the Senate conferees are Senators Bridges, Chair, Priola, and Holbert on the first conference committee
winter is fine. Creola and winter would be great. You're okay with that?
You see? Yeah.
Can I request a senatorial 5 on this, please?
Strike what was just said on House Bill 1027 on the conference committee's reports. In continuation, in response to a request from the House on a conference committee on House Bill 1065, the Senate conferees are Senators Garcia, Chair, Hawkes Lewis, and Gardner on the first conference committee on House Bill 1065. In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1301, the Senate conferees are Senators Moreno, Chair, Winter, and Quorum on the first conference committee on House Bill 1301. The Senate will stand in a brief recess. The Senate will come to order. In response to a request from the House on a first conference committee on House Bill 1027, the Senate conferees are Senators Bridges, Chair, Garcia, and Holbert on the first conference committee on House Bill 1027. Announcements.
Do you want me to tell them that? Or what? That's over?
Yeah, sure. There's another announcement there.
Yeah, I know. You want me to put over them? Has it been signed? We did sign. Huh? Has it been?
The Senate will stand in a brief recess. Senate will come back to order. Announcements.
You want in on some ketamine? Is that interesting? You want some?
I was confused. I said,
Senate will stand in another brief recess. The Senate will come back to order. Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request that the Conference Committee on House Bill 1007 be given permission to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two houses.
The motion is for the body to grant permission for the conferees on the First Conference Committee on House Bill 1007 to go beyond the scope of the differences between the two chambers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and permission is granted.
Thank you.
In response to a request from the House for a conference committee on House Bill 1251, the Senate conferees are Senators Gonzalez, Chair, Fields, and Gardner on the First Conference Committee on House Bill 1251. Announcements. Senator Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Appropriations, you get the morning off, but we will be meeting at some point tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned. Senate Appropriations sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks, colleagues. If you have a stack of files at the edge of your metal cabinet, please take a moment and file them yourselves so that our staff members can go home when we go home. Thanks very much.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, quick announcement. You got a sheet on your desks about what you want to do with your files and your revised statutes and the journals and things like that. Please fill it out. But most importantly, there is nowhere to put your name on it. So put your name on it so they actually know who it came from. And it seems like the nameless one that was turned into the desk may be from Jerry Sonnenberg, based on the reaction just now. Yeah, and announcements, sure. So please get that in, but don't turn it in without your name on it because we won't know who it came from. As the good senator from Jefferson County mentioned, please at least put your files on your desk so the assignables can go home as well. So please do that to be cognizant of the late hour. And Mr. President, everyone's going to want to listen to this. I move that the Senate adjourn until 10 a.m.
No.
Friday, June 4th.
6. No.
Is there a substitute motion? You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the motion is adopted, and the Senate will stand in adjournment until 10:00 hours tomorrow on Friday, June 4th, 2021.